Every year, Toyota sells about 250,000 Priuses, and guess what? Kia wants to take a chunk out of that. Meet the 2017 Kia Niro Hybrid. It doesn't quite get the fuel economy of a Prius, but it's priced more attractively and it's got better utility. Under the hood of the Niro, you'll find an all-new 1.6-liter four-cylinder engine that produces a little over 100 horsepower. When it's mated with its electric motor, you're going to get 139 horsepower and 195 pound-feet of torque. Those are comparable numbers to a Prius, but what really makes this Niro a little more exciting is that it has a regular transmission. In fact, it's a 6-speed dual-clutch transmission as opposed to the CVT you find in many other hybrids. We're driving the top-of-the-line touring model and it has these 18-inch wheels which look great. However, looks can be deceiving because the fuel economy on the touring model is an average of 43, whereas you get 50 on the base model. Kia calls the Niro a crossover, and I challenge them on that because to me this is more of a hatchback. Another reason I don't like to call it a crossover is that you can't get it in an all-wheel drive version. But it is very practical, has a lot of utility, a little more utility than a Prius, which is the best-selling hatchback in America. I think if people put these two side by side, they're going to find that Kia is clearly the better value. The question is, can they get past the fact that this is the first time they're offering a subcompact hybrid? Kia put us on some relatively challenging roads just outside of San Antonio, Texas. And I gotta tell you, it's okay. It's not exactly a sports car by any means, but neither is a Prius, and that is their target. Their other targets are traditional crossovers, the subcompacts, like the Mazda CX-3 and Honda HR-V. The difference is both of those are available in all-wheel drive, and you can't get this in all-wheel drive. You know, traditionally the reason people purchased a Prius is because, especially in California, fuel economy. So when gas prices were high, Prius made sense. Right now, gas prices are pretty low. The other thing is you would get a carpool lane sticker, and you don't get those anymore for a Prius, unless it's the plug-in, and you don't get it for this car either. Now later, when the plug-in is introduced, you will get the carpool lane sticker, but not at launch. So all that aside, it's kind of equal to the Prius. The big difference is that this car has a little bit more utility, a little more cargo space, a little better second row seating, and those are certainly some key decision factors. Let's talk about the car itself. The instrumentation is very nice, exactly what we expect from Kia. You've got a traditional analog gauge, and on the left we have a nice eco gauge to let us know about the power consumption. The infotainment screen, nice and large, 8 inches, and of course you have Apple CarPlay. We weren't big fans of the navigation system. It actually got us lost a couple of times today, but we figured that's just an early production glitch. I prefer to use Apple CarPlay anyway. The Niro is not going to set any speed records by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, we found it to be a little bit sluggish. Is it more sluggish than a Prius? It's probably on par. And certainly the dual clutch transmission helps. Doesn't give you that whiny CVT feel. So definitely advantage for the Niro there. But overall, it's definitely a vehicle to get you better MPGs than 0 to 60 times. Seating for a subcompact is pretty comfortable. You have a nice high view here, and again, being a crossover or a pseudo crossover, you get a little bit higher seating position than a traditional sedan or hatchback. And overall, the packaging is very well done by Kia. We probably don't recommend the touring model because you get such a significant drop in fuel economy. Speaking of fuel economy, so on the first leg, which I was driving, we averaged about 35 miles per gallon. The second leg, my slower partner was driving and averaged almost 45 miles per gallon. For those of you living in colder climates, you're not going to get the benefit of all-wheel drive as an option, but you do have an optional heated steering wheel, so maybe that will help ease some of the pain. There are 4 Niro models, starting with the base FE, starting at $22,890, and that one yields 50 miles per gallon. Next you have the LX at $23,200 and EX at $25,700. Both of those yield 49 miles per gallon on average. And the top of the line touring we're driving today starts at $29,650 and has an average fuel economy of 43 miles per gallon. The clear consensus from today's drive is that Kia has a real winner on their hands. The Niro is definitely going to challenge the Prius. Not sure how big of a market share it's going to take away from them, but it will give people something to look at. I'm Ron Doran. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on The Driver's Seat.